Hey, shalom, everybody. It's your Ak Zamar back in the building. I know I've been gone for a little bit, but hey, we here. Had to be out for a little bit because we were focusing on the feast, and I definitely wanted my focus to be one-eyed. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be single. I wanted to be in one place. So I wasn't trying to make too much content in that time period, but rather focus on some of my priority stuff. But this also is something that I told myself I was going to be committed to, because I understand that it's people out there that get something out of this, that may not have the fellowship that I have yet, may not have the guidance, may not have the instructors, the examples, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the least I could do is give a little piece of me to be able to help you in your growth, right? So Yahuah Baruch, I thank him, number one, eternal honors to my king, my Yahuah, my creator, the one that cannot be fully understand or contained by man, the one that cannot be subjected to just words, right? The one that it can't be subjected to wisdom, to your wisdom, because your wisdom is foolishness unto him. So Yahuah Baruch, I'll give you praise, I'll give you honor, I'll give you esteem, Yahushua, my eternal king, the one that's been lifted to sit at the right hand of Yahuwah, to be an instrument of deliverance for his chosen people. I thank them. And we know that everything that is joined with Yahuwah is a God, so he that is joined unto Yahuwah is one spirit with him. So I'm thankful to be able to partake into that. With that being said, I wanted to say shalom to y'all, shalom to my brothers, keep standing solid in his word, enduring, working, putting in the work. Shalom to my sisters, may y'all continue to be blessed in Yahuwah's name. There's a lot going on in the world right now, but stay focused. Stay focused. Keep your mind on Yahuwah. Keep your mind on Yahushua. Continue to work on your discipline, your faith, your emunah. Continue to work on your inadequacy so you can be that vessel that's fit for Yahuwah's use, right? At the end of the day. But anyways, this morning I got up, and after getting some stuff together, taking care of some personal stuff, I was really just sitting there and I was thinking about 2016. I worked at Walmart, and at the time I was a cart pusher before I ended up going in the building. And I'm gonna just give a little short testimony. I started working at Walmart as a cart pusher. At that time is the time when I really started taking the Bible serious. I really started digging in the scriptures. The scriptures just made sense to me. And I just kept digging and kept digging. In the meantime, I remember early in the morning looking up and seeing the beautiful sky, seeing the colors of the sky, seeing the birds, hearing the birds. For some reason, Walmart, the way they built their parking lots, it's so open that you can see the sky clearly. Like, because they clear so much land and trees and stuff, and they only have like a few trees in the parking lot, it really opens up the sky. And the ideas that they have, or the places that they actually put these places, is you know, it has to be some pretty cool little layouts the way they do it. And anyway, enough with the blueprint of Walmart. My whole point is, I remember being out there pushing the carts and having a hoodie on because it was cold. But just in the time period I was seeking Yahuwah, I remember looking up to the heavens, and the beauty of the heavens just amazed me. And it amazed me on a greater level because all my life, I always sought for this God, right? That we know of as God, right? I always look for that. So Yahuwah, what he showed me in that time period was the handiwork. I paid attention to his handiwork. I paid attention to who could have created these clouds. Yeah, we got science, but science is just the study of something that already exists. What makes them so grand that they have certain elements of understanding to something that they didn't create? I want to know about the one that made it. That's what I want to know. So I would look up to the heavens, I would look up at the sun, and I would just admire how heat comes from the sun, how the sun gives the same figure of function as fire, but it's contained in one spot. I would look up at the beauty of the moon and see how the light would shine on the moon and show different parts of the moon, and then this moon would give us phases of time. I would listen to the sounds of the birds as they crow, as they give their cry out in the morning, they singing in the morning, as they communicate with one another. I would look at when I would throw food down and they would all respond, they would all come. I would look at the beauty of the flowers, the beauty of the tree, the leaf, how it has veins in it and element flows to it to keep it blissful, to keep life within it. I would look at the fruit, the taste, you know what I'm saying? Like who could have made this taste so specific? And all these things for me at that time, it was the little stuff that people consider little, but to me it was big, you know what I'm saying? It was something that really blessed me as a person. So in that time period, as I'm explaining, y'all can see that I was in a very, very, what's the right word? I was really thinking real deep and very observative. And also, I was real calculated on how I looked at stuff at the time, like super calculated. At the time, coming out of a deep trauma from being positioned in life where all I thought about was death. All I could imagine was death. All I thought about was people getting shot, having nightmares and dreams of people dying, killing, all this different stuff, gang banging, people being snakes. It's just a whole lot of stuff that came from back home that even if I didn't do it because I knew who it got done to, or just different stuff like that, stuff would try to hunt me. So coming out of that, and then Yahuah just like taking me out of a tunnel, and it's like I came out of this tunnel into this open field of light, and just being able to see all the stuff that I had already saw, but now I recognized what it was. I didn't just see it, but I recognized it. I was able to see that this is more than what I perceived it to be. So, time went by, I'm studying my word, and one day I run into this homeless man. And first, he would talk to himself, like just be out of it, just talking to himself. And finally, I ran into him again, and from there, we started talking. We started building. His name was Dell. He was an older white guy. Very, very down to earth man. When I talked to him, I didn't push him away because he talked to himself, because I have a father who has a mental illness that is similar to that of which I would say he had. I mean, I can't necessarily call specifically what his is, but my father has some situations where I was used to that. So I didn't push people away because of where they mental was at. Because you never know, you know what I'm saying? Because I seen my blood father, like he was a very loving guy. He loved his children. It's just a simple fact of we had that to deal with where we couldn't necessarily have him our way there. So I was used to talking to people like that. Well, in the meantime, I started building a relationship with this man, not to realize how much of an influence and an impact he would be on my walk. Well, at the time I was in a congregation, we was doing like street preaching and stuff like that, and in my time period, it was very, very disciplined. I learned a lot of discipline traits from that time period of my life because number one, I lacked a lot. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of support, really, as a young man, 18, just about to turn 19 at the end of the year at 2015, going into that 2016 year. So it was like real different for me, really. I couldn't dress up. I couldn't look the way I used to want to look. I couldn't get haircuts all the time like I used to. I couldn't smoke no more because I had stopped smoking. So everything was just different. Like I was just in a new place in life. Well, I gradually started to embrace the scriptures and the understanding of the word, and I'm learning my precepts. I'm learning how to debate. I'm learning how to decipher the word. And a lot of people come into the walk when they do the street preaching and it's all about proving other people wrong. For me, it wasn't that. That just was the first way that it was introduced to me. So that's the way that I picked it up. So I became very precise with the doctrine that I was taught, at least. The spirit against the flesh, and understanding how to walk in what at the time I knew as baptism, understanding immersion, that immersion was deeper than just getting put in water, but they had to represent your life, like according to Romans chapter 6. So Yahuah he taught me a lot. My mom was in a very, very healthy place as a young man, per se, that didn't have a whole lot of examples of what a man should look like. Well, I was at the time doing street preaching with my ministry, and there would be a lot of days I would come back and me and Dell would sit down, and Dell would always bring up this scripture right here. Let me pull it up. Galatians chapter 6 verse 6. It says, "Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all true things." And I would always wonder, like, man, why does he always bring this scripture up randomly? He would bring it up, and I would just be like, what is that? And now it makes a little more sense to me now. He just used to say that randomly. I used to wonder, like, Father, like, why is he constantly saying this? It would be random. He would just say it. Now it makes a little more sense to me in my life and the place that I'm at now. But at the time, even though I did the street teaching, I still didn't understand, because really, to be truthful, I felt like he was teaching me. Now, I'm not giving credence to the fact that this ain't got nothing to do with a nation thing. It doesn't. I'm just really showing that when it come down to Yahuah, you got to be patient, and you gotta look at how he does things for us in our lives. Do I believe that our people are the chosen people? Of course I do. Do I believe that, y'all know that, you know what I'm saying? I stand on that, and I will go the extra mile to make sure that I get my point across if it's a necessary time to do that. But in that situation, I really learned that you really can't get caught up in that, because you know how many people of my own that I was trying to talk to about the word, and they was like, that's wrong, that ain't there, da-da-da, da-da-da. But this man was honestly a Gentile white guy. Cool man, I loved him. I really felt like at the time, I ain't gonna lie, I really felt like this man might be a Malakim type of deal. Malakim, for y'all that don't know, is an angel. The way that he popped up, and his word was specific to me. I used to have to go to work at like 5 a.m. in the morning, and that's back when Walmart was 24 hours, and I used to leave early because I had to drop somebody else off, and I would get there maybe an hour early, and I would sit outside of McDonald's because my phone was off, and so I had to connect to their Wi-Fi, and I would sit out there, I would listen to the book of Enoch, I would read the Torah, I would get deep into my Romans and my Galatians 6:16, my Romans chapter 8 verse 4 through 12, and I would go deep into Matthew, making sure that I remember my precepts, Matthew 7, Matthew 24, like just all over the book, knowing how to decipher the word. And he used to come over to the car, or sometime I would invite him. I might have a few dollars. At Walmart, at the time, I didn't make a lot of money. I probably made about $9, something like that. But I would offer him food, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want something to eat, I'll get you some food. This man would take, if he was really hungry, he would take a little bit of it and share it with another homeless person. It would be nice, or it would be snowing outside. I would get this man a blanket. He'd take the blanket, the heater, the hand warmers, and he would literally take them and go give them to other homeless people. And I was like, what manner of man is this? To be real with you, at the time, I was like, what type of man is this that he'll do that? But I just wanted to share that because, again, we gotta be humble. My mama always tell me this. My mother, my Mama Kaya, she always say, stay low. You know what I'm saying? And so this is an example of staying low. This is an example of making sure you stay in the right place in your mind, because pride can cause us to get so caught up in what we know to be true about who we are. It's okay to be confident. It's a difference between confidence and pride. But there's also a thin line, because this is a poor man. He's a Gentile. Now, at the time, I wasn't heavy up on we the people doctrine. But even if I wasn't, if I hear Yahuah when somebody talking to me, I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen if I hear him. I heard him. You know what I'm saying, with him. I used to go sit a blanket out, a towel out, my jacket out. Me and him would sit up on the ground in front of Walmart parking lot beside this McDonald's where this dumpster he used to sleep at. And I used to sit there for hours with him and just talk with him. And I just got so much ministering from him. Not from, like I said, he was real lowly. I don't really feel like he really had nobody like that. He was always by himself. And about 2 years later after that, about a year later after that, I never seen him again. But again, this man helped me in my walk. A homeless Gentile guy. You feel me? So with all your getting, get understanding. You know what I'm saying? Remember that the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of our wisdom. Remember that Yahuah used a donkey. My Ak was bringing this out. My Ak, Yosef was bringing this out. Yahuah used a donkey to minister. You know what I'm saying? Remember that things ain't always gotta be your ideal situation for you to be able to see Yahuah. Right now, we're in a time where we gotta be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You gotta be thinking properly, knowing how to discern how to apply yourself in certain situations, because certain situations can get you in unfortunate situations. So at the end of the day, keep your mind focused. Remember, stay humble, stay low. Our king was that. The man was a king. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua was a king and came in riding on a donkey. You feel me? And this is where the Pharisees mess up. They couldn't see the king coming in on a donkey. They think the king's supposed to come in riding on a white horse, floating over everybody. They think the king's supposed to be rocking gold and all this stuff. And it's okay. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying there's something wrong with if you want to look nice. I like to look nice. But what I am saying is we got to remember to stay low, stay humble. Remember to stay in position. We ain't nothing but dust. Yahuah can make some glory out of dust, but remember that the glory didn't come from you. The glory came from him. So, Baruch Yahuah. I love y'all. Shalom. Thank y'all for tapping in.